Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissach. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. However you may be joining us, we are glad you're with us. And speaking of glad, very glad to have with us Earl Eues. I'd give you your title, but it just seems to get longer and longer. Are you adding words to it?
No, just say Director of TOSAP.
Okay, Director of TOSAP. Very good.
Makes it easier.
That's exactly right. The Office of Homeland Security, Director of Emergency Preparedness. And so, Earl, it seems like we keep talking about the same things, but they're important to kind of go over. And especially now as we kind of think about COVID, we really feel some momentum as we're moving.
Yeah, so I guess you could say we got some good news because the numbers are really dropping substantially. Over the last 4 days during, the Mardi Gras holidays, we had about 9 cases per day. So, at our highest peak, we was close to 300 per day at some times. So that is a substantial decrease, and hopefully we can keep it that way. One of the good things is the city of New Orleans is dropping their mask mandate today.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think they're going to take a look at the numbers in the next 2 weeks, and then they're going to decide whether or not you still need a vaccine card to get into establishments.
Right.
But, in our area, we're talking about vaccines, we're still very low. We only had about a 43% of the population is vaccinated. So we made it through this last surge. I don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows if there'll be another strand. You may want to go get vaccinated in case they have another strand. But, and our hospitalization numbers are down. We're averaging about 5 patients a day. Those numbers got up almost to 40 a day when things were really bad. So, and what I want to stress about the hospitalizations, people are still getting sick.
Right.
From COVID.
Right.
Okay. And they're still getting hospitalized.
Right.
So, if you have comorbidities or if you have other health issues, you should think about getting vaccinated because still about 72% of those in the hospital are unvaccinated.
Yeah, and we've stayed in that 70 to 90% range for most of the 2 years.
That's correct.
And it was 90% or right at that number for a long time. And then for this more recent variant, like you said, it's going down to about 70%.
Right. And then, our
72.
Positivity for this past week, which came out yesterday, we're at 6.1%, which is substantially lower than right after the storm, which was, right before the storm was about 19%, 20%. So,
right.
So those decreases are nice. But, people should not forget, just the regular hygiene stuff to keep yourself from getting sick from regular, whether it's the flu or a common cold or whatever. Continue to wash your hands. If you're sick, don't go to work. Mm-hmm. Stay home until you're well. And then, if you're not feeling well, but you don't think you're well enough not to stay, you're not sick enough to stay home, practice some social distancing with people.
Right. And we'll see. It's kind of interesting. You mentioned within 2 weeks or so, New Orleans kind of make a decision or think about what it is that they want to do or how they're going to do that. We're going to kind of do the same thing. We're going to see if these numbers through Mardi Gras, kind of if we see some peaks or some spikes.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see some peaks. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was, when Omicron was at its worst. But, everybody's together, everybody hanging around together. And we've seen this during, like, the holidays and other events, where we've seen a spike in the number of cases. So hopefully, I hope we don't see one.
Yeah.
But,
nice.
It's almost impossible not to have a spike with everybody being together.
Yeah, and then we still have that situation where I've got a friend of mine whose daughter got sick. She's under the age of 10. And there was that question about, what is this? And so fortunately they kind of figured out that it was a bug and they're okay. But they were able to figure out that it's not COVID, took a test and made sure that it wasn't. So it's important to be able to keep doing that.
And the testing is, more over-the-counter or take-home tests are available in the drugstores and big box stores now. So if you pick up a couple of those in case you need them. And then, if you listen to the State of the Union address, was it yesterday?
2 days ago.
2 days ago, yeah. It was Mardi Gras 2 days ago.
Maybe it was yesterday.
Was it Tuesday? Well, it ain't Mardi Gras all over the world.
That's
so,
true.
you know,
That's true.
Tuesday's just a regular day somewhere.
It was one day this week.
Okay. Anyway, President Biden said you can go online and order at-home tests if you want them sent
right.
to you
Right.
at no cost to you.
Right.
So, and I also saw a picture, I think it was in the Courier. Somebody was throwing those out on one of the floats or something, because I saw a picture. There was 3 people holding their take-home test. And so, so if you're not feeling well, take a test and just see if you have COVID or not. And if it's negative, great. If it's positive, you know, isolate yourself or quarantine, whichever you need to do, and you know, try to prevent anybody else from getting it. It's kind of like, now it's kind of like, I hate to say this, but now it's kind of like the flu.
Yep.
Okay, so if you get the flu, you don't want to go to work and give everybody else the flu.
Right.
So if you get the COVID, stay home because you don't want to give everybody else the COVID.
Right.
So I hate to compare it to the flu, but it's about where we are now with the numbers being so
Right.
low.
And the situation, we've kind of changed situationally about the impact of that. And so, again, we just don't want to get anybody else sick. If you are sick, stay home.
That's
it's simple, you know, and just treat it like you would any other communicable disease.
And
we'll like
if
that.
you wear a mask, I mean, now it's a comfortable. I mean, it's everybody. There's nothing wrong with wearing a mask now.
We can wear
so
masks.
you can wear a mask without anybody giving you any ridicule because everybody's been doing it for so long.
And we know how to do it. And Earl, you know, it's really interesting. We talk about how, you know, hurricane season is only 4 months away. And some people may be thinking, yeah, well, 4 months is a long time. Well, not necessarily if we're still in a recovery period. There's a lot of aspects that's different this year maybe than we've dealt with in the past.
Yeah, I mean, we already, you know, 3 months into the new year. So, and it's like, man, where did it all, how, you know, where did it go?
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, we're 4 months away from the 2022 hurricane season. We need everybody to pray that we don't have any disasters, or hurricanes in that aspect. But we do need to be prepared. And we probably have about 2,500 people right now, or families, that are living in a temporary housing, which is either a mobile home unit or a travel trailer.
Right.
So those people they really need to figure out what are they going to do to evacuate if asked to during a tropical storm. Where are they going to go?
Right.
The parish is making up plans right now to accommodate those people. But if they have a family member or another place that they can go, it's you know, probably better than going to the shelter, the general
Right.
population shelter. So start making plans right now.
And it's really important for people that maybe have never lived in a camper. And so, fortunately or unfortunately, my wife and ourselves and my family, we've always had travel trailers, and so we're familiar with that. And one of the things we talked about, if you've never gone through or sat in a trailer with just 35 or 40 mile an hour winds blowing, then it's an experience. It's nothing like being in a house. So you really need to make a plan, even if it's something as small as a tropical storm.
That's correct, because a lot of these travel trailers are not secured to the ground.
Right.
So you know, we got to make sure the message gets out there that those people that are living in travel trailers, even for a tropical storm, we're going to ask that you evacuate to someplace safer.
Right.
The other thing I'd like to ask people to do is to go and document with pictures the damage that you had for Ida, okay? And then right maybe June 1st, take pictures of whatever repairs have been done already, so that if there is another storm and there is additional damage, that the insurance company, you'll have proof if the insurance comes back and says, no, that damage was done during Ida, not during this storm. Because with some of the damage that people have right now, a tropical storm may cause additional damage.
That is correct.
So you may need to make sure you document what you have now, and then and then when the hurricane comes after June 1st, you have additional documentation to show the insurance companies that no, the new storm caused that damage.
Yeah, and I've got to get creative. I'm not going to be able to get somebody to replace all of my the protection for my windows, and so I don't think I'm going to have all that completed beforehand. So I've got to get creative here before this.
That's correct.
season.
And if you have a contractor working in your home, you know, around the June 1st hurricane season time, ask them to make sure that they secure what they're working on, especially if it's on the outside, that it doesn't get additional damage to your home because they didn't secure it properly.
Right, and if you're getting shutters put up, God bless you, that's a good thing. I'm still in line, but make sure that they're secured if in fact we get to that point.
That's correct. So we got 4 months. You have plenty of time to think about
prepare.
that and to prepare and to get ready because the hurricane season will be here whether we want it or not.
Right, it's coming
So, and I'm not too concerned about how many storms we're going to have this year.
Right.
Because just a tropical storm is going to cause some damage to some people that already had damage.
Right, and further traumatize that
That's
situation.
correct.
Speaking of traumatization, there's some things that we really need to be concerned about when it comes to IT and some cyber attacks that are possible.
That's correct. We've been getting notifications from the state and federal agencies that with the Russian-Ukraine war that's happening right now, that Russia may attempt to try to do some hacking or loss of service,
malware,
and ransomware within the United States. So larger corporations may be affected, but also smaller businesses may be affected. So the most important thing is make sure that you have the software and equipment and expertise to make sure that your system is secure in case, so that it doesn't get hacked. But then again, if it does get hacked, that you have a complete backup of your system so that you can restart your business in the event that occurs. I'm a small business owner, and just even as a small business owner, if I lose my files, that is a big issue for me. So, I use a software program that uses the cloud, and it's a real-time backup, so everything that goes onto my hard drive or my server, it automatically gets backed up in the cloud somewhere else. So in the event that I do get a ransomware, I don't have to worry about paying that ransom. I can just wipe out my system and then download everything from the cloud. But but the problem with that is it takes a while to download everything that you own on your server and on your computer. It takes a little while to do that. So you may be out of, not having your files for a couple of days, but at least you'll have them again at another time.
And won't lose everything. And
Right.
we've heard of some situations where those things are very real. It's a very real threat. We don't want to think that that's just for large companies.
So you can go to the Department of Homeland Security, DHS's website, and there's a department called CISA, C-I-S-A. It's Critical Infrastructure. I don't know what the SA stands for, but I know what they do is they take care and provide information on how to prevent your system from getting affected by cyber.
Appreciate it. Thanks for all the help. Thanks
Okay.
as always, Earl. All right, and that'll do it for this particular segment. Don't go anywhere. Got a whole lot more Bayou Time when we continue.